Well, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Cooking for One Sucks. I was going to change the title. I was advised not to. This channel is dedicated to all of us who have to cook for one. And let's face it, cooking for one sucks. You know, you got all the cleanup and all the dishes and all the everything else that goes with it. But you can't go out to eat all the time, and so it's not healthy for you. It's certainly expensive. So I am going to share some of the things that I do to make cooking for one a little more palatable. Those of you who follow me on my other channel know that I am a computer scrapper. But this is the other thing I like to do. I've been trying to develop some recipes, you know, where I'll get a wholesome meal and then have one or two for the fridge. So one of them that I've been working on, this is going to be a kind of chicken parm. I tend not to use so much cheese just because I prefer not to. I found this to be very good. Bettinelli's vodka recipe vodka sauce. I've been using that. So you need a jar of that. You can mix it up. You can use elbows. You can use ziti, which is what I'm going to use today. The other day I made it with spaghetti. And I will get 3 or 4 meals out of this. And it's like make one and freeze 2, which is really what I tend to do. It's a lot healthier. I mean, the chicken was already done. That was $5. $3 for the sauce and a couple of bucks in oil. So, you know, this is going to be 3 meals for around $10. Not too bad. Ooh. So I use the typical dredge. I do the flour and then a little bit of milk. Sometimes I beat up an egg, but I don't have any eggs in the house today, and it's really not necessary. Okay, my oil is sizzling, which is a signal that it is ready for chicken. I've got my pasta water boiling in the back. This is an experiment, guys. We'll see how this goes. I don't know. So we're going to do my flour. These are already nice and thin. They were on sale yesterday, 5 something a package. I bought 3 packages. I do have a cover here in case the oil flames up, just because that's a good idea, right? Okay. Tell by the sizzle that's already going. You can do this in about 2 pots. I'm using plain breadcrumbs. I seasoned them already, a little bit of salt, some onion powder. You can throw a little paprika in there if you're so inclined for color. For me, I'm cooking a little bit early. It's only about 12 o'clock, and this is going to be dinner, but my nephew is working a double shift, and if I can swing him over a healthy dinner, I'm going to try. It's brutally hot here in Connecticut today. It is 90 degrees, so I don't really want to have to cook later. So we'll get this out of the way right quick, I think. I like to do 2 or 3 at a time. It coats it more evenly. You get a better fry. But now I started this, let's just say I started at 12. Okay? I'll be done in half an hour, and I'll have 3 meals out of this. So it makes cooking for one suck a lot less. Oh yeah, we were going to do the whole audience thing and everybody yell, "Cooking for one sucks, say it with me." Oh my god. I shouldn't say such things. So vulgar. So funny. Let's see. The thing about this, if you do it right, you can do it. Really, the only mess you're going to have is the two pans. couple of dishes. Not so bad. Get my paper towels out. Starting to cook a little bit around the edges, so I know it's time to turn them over, like so. You want to make sure your oil is good and hot, otherwise you'll end up with soggy cloths, and that's disgusting. Yeah, like I said, you'll get 3 or 4 meals out of this, depending how much you eat. I've already got a salad in the fridge that I did buy a prepackaged salad yesterday, but I've got my croutons, I've got my dressing. It's cheaper, gives you something to do if you're home alone a lot like I am, and why not? It's really all in the interest of healthy eating, but it really is, it's hard to cook for yourself every day, and I think it's hard to cook for 2. I was used to cooking for a big family, then it was just Mom and me, now it's just me, but I like to cook, I do. I enjoy it. So I've been devoting myself to finding some quick, easy recipes that, those of us who are either live alone or just have yourself and maybe another person in the house, quick and easy. So far I'm about 6 minutes into this. I do want to try to get to the beach, but it's almost unhealthy outside right now. It's so hot. So, don't know that we're going to be doing that. That's another reason I'm inside cooking today. I want to get this done and out of the way. Because of the temperature and the air conditioning and the heat advisories. Yeah. Flour, dredge. I've already emptied the dishwasher. Everything's done. It'll go right into the dishwasher. I won't have a big mess left in the kitchen when I'm done. Now you can add and subtract whatever you want to this. Again, I'm making a basic chicken cutlet and ziti. You could add cheese to it. You could add fresh herbs would be nice. I should have picked up some parsley and things yesterday. Ouch, but I didn't. I wash my hands a lot especially when I handle chicken. Gotta watch these Calphalon pans. These handles get super, super hot. But this is a nice, easy recipe, and you don't have to heat up your oven. A couple of minutes on the stovetop and you're done. You have to brown them enough to cook them, but you don't have to cook them heavily because they're going to cook a little bit more when I layer it over the pasta. You can add fresh tomatoes, you can add fresh basil, you can add, anything you want to them. I just happen to like vodka sauce. I add a little bit of sugar to my sauce to take the acidity out. I'll add a little basil, a little bit of oregano. You season them to taste. This one isn't too bad. It's not very acidy. I'm really, really sensitive to acidy tomato sauce. And cooking a whole tomato sauce for one person is not on the agenda today. I don't have the inclination to do it. I do make a lot of my own sauce. I have my dad's recipe, Maybe someday I'll share that with you guys, but it's not good for cooking for one because that's an afternoon project. You gotta make the meatballs. You got a lot to do to prepare that. So I'm gonna pop this cover on here to get my ziti water boiling. That's gonna heat up the kitchen just a little, which is why I'm doing this at 12 o'clock in the afternoon and not 5 o'clock at night. I'll get this done and I'll be able to pick at it over the course of the next day or two. Definitely freeze one. I always have one in the freezer, just in case. Alright. I'm going to throw a little salt in the pasta water. Might as well get my spices while I'm here. I use just a little bit of thyme. I use thyme in my meatballs a lot. A little parsley, salt, pepper, Parmesan cheese. This other one's almost done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dump the oil, scrape the pan, and reuse it so I don't have to clean another pan. To dump that oil into. I never dump my oil down the sink. I don't want to have a problem. Like I said, I'm just going to take that. I'm going to dump the oil out. I'm going to scrape the pan. I'm going to put my tomato sauce in it. And tomato sauce will start getting up the temperature and cleaning up while I'm cooking the pasta. Bueno, this is done. Dumping the oil. And like I said, I scraped the bottom of the pan out just to get the dead breadcrumbs out. I got all the oil off. Turn that down. I already wiped the sides to make sure I've gotten all the oil off. Lower the heat. The burner's still pretty hot. I knew that when I did this stuff. A little bit of water, get a bit of a rinse there. That can go in the dishwasher. Quick stir. Now my pasta water has just started boiling. You'll notice I'm using two pans that are the same size. So I only have one lid to clean. See? Am I really that brilliant? No. Just coincidence. Okay. Let's see. I use about 2 teaspoons of sugar. And again, that's just a personal thing to get the acidity out of the sauce. I can use brown sugar too. Brown sugar works really well. Alright, I'm going to use about half of this box. If I use any more, I won't have enough sauce. Got enough there for another meal. Away as you go. Gonna have to get a couple of these up pretty quick because my kitchen is going to get redone soon. Okay. Just a little bit of sage, not too much. You sprinkle a little of that on the chicken too. Smallest little bit of thyme, not a lot. A pinch, okay? Just like that, a pinch. Pinch of parsley. Remember, I've only got 1 jar of sauce in here. It's not a lot. A little bit of parsley. Fresh parsley and fresh basil look really nice on the top of this dish if you're making it for company. What am I looking for? Pinch of basil. Yes, I know, I'm using jarred stuff. My father would roll over in his grave. And of course, a pinch of oregano. That's a pinch. Boom. Okay, that's done. Turn up the heat just a little. Remember, the sauce will burn really easily, so don't overkill. 2. So remember, I said these are going to cook a little bit more, so you only have to really brown them and just cook the center. And 4. And just like that. This is also really a good recipe if you get an unannounced company, like, hey, we're driving through town. Stop by and visit. Yeah, sure, come on by. I can take care of that. And these are things you usually have around the house anyway, right? I mean, I always have chicken cutlets in the freezer, and these thin ones, they defrost like nothing. And you know, I keep a couple of jars of sauce in the house. I keep a couple of boxes of pasta. Yeah. I actually try to kind of plan my meals, you know, so I only have to cook every couple of days. And I've already got the dishes are already in the sink, guys. There's almost no cleanup here. I got very little left to do. The dishes are already in the dishwasher, which I emptied before I did this, so I didn't have a great big mess to clean up. And as you can see, this moves along pretty quickly. You can make the pasta a little bit al dente because it's going to cook a little bit more in here. And it's starting to bloop, so I'm going to turn it down just a bit. Like I said, you can top this with mozzarella cheese, fresh basil, French parsley, whatever you want to actually do with it. I'm cutting down on the cheese a little bit just because of my diet and stuff, but you know, easy enough to add, right? Just shredded mozzarella right over the top, and good. Green tea, very good for inflammation. Yeah, now I'm pretty much all done here. All I got to do is add the pasta, let it bloop, let the pots cool down, chuck them in the dishwasher, and I'm done. 15-20 minutes and I'm done. That ain't too bad, is it? I used to love to cook. I used to have a big family. My brother's 3 kids were always over here visiting their grandmother. And, you know, I like to cook and they like to eat. Worked out really well. Like I said, I make the pasta a little bit on the chewy side just because it's going to cook more in here. I don't like soggy pasta. Soggy pasta. Where did I put my... My kitchen is very small. I have very little workroom, which definitely influences my my cooking. I think I'm going to have the kitchen redone, but I really do like to cook. I also have a couple of neighbors who are elderly, and sometimes, you know, they're both, she's alone, and I know that, and sometimes I'll just run a little something over her, not over there, not because I'm so wonderful, because I know she won't eat if I don't do it. So, you know, try to do that when I can. And I always like to have a little something in the fridge or the freezer in case somebody comes in unexpectedly. And you know, this is good. Maybe a day I've had a long day and I don't feel like cooking, I just grab it out of the fridge. TV dinners are $5 and $6 and $7, and they're full of salt, and God only knows what else. Why not take that little bit of money, make yourself a couple of good meals? And this is under $10, and I'll have 3 meals out of this, possibly 4. I think the most expensive thing was probably the darn sauce. And I could get the price down even more if I had taken the time to make my own. I haven't found a vodka penne sauce recipe that I actually like yet. Once I do that, I'll be making my own sauce. I make a good marinara sauce. It's rough on my stomach, so I go for the vodka penne stuff. All right, let's see how we're doing here. It's doing good. It's not blooping away too fast. Turn that down a little more. A little bit more. It's still a little bit too chewy. Like I said, it's going to be cooked, but it's not going to be cooked to the point of sogginess. Quick cleanup. I'm almost done. I'm going to work on a couple of more of these guys. You can let me know if you like them or not. I do have a YouTube and a TikTok channel, D-Scraps, E-Scraps. I'm not sure if I'm going to put these on a separate channel or do something different with them. I haven't decided yet. I did one of these a couple of weeks ago with a couple of pounds of hamburger. We got chili, we got meatballs, we got tacos out of a pound of hamburger. And I did another one with a turkey breast. We got 3 or 4 meals out of that. Yeah, this is turned down to a point where it's just simmering right now. Okay, that's good. This is me. I'm just not strong enough to carry things across to the sink. Get some of the weight out of it, and then I'll dump it. Always be careful, you don't want to get a steam burn. Pour a little bit of water off at a time, eh? Just like that. There you go, guys. Dinner's ready. I probably could have saved a little more sauce to pour over the top, but it'll be fine once I get one piece of chicken or so out of there. There you have it. Chicken and ziti in the skillet. 12:24. It took me 24 minutes to do. And do that. Turn off the heat. Bon appetit. Okay, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do. I've been encouraged by my family to get up some more of these easy recipes, and we'll see how it goes. Ciao.